What is going on, everyone? Dominic the Dominator from the Veterans Den channel, wanting to do a video to talk about someone very special and near and dear to my heart. I know that we can talk about the VA and we'll sit here and bash the VA for hours on end, and a lot of it is warranted. You see stuff on the news, you see stuff from other veterans and their experience. For myself, I've been very fortunate. I haven't had any issues with the VA. Everything's been wonderful and great. The only time I've had problems with the VA is when I went to Arizona, and that's when I actually dealt with some issues or the way they did things or protocols and policies. Before that, when I was going to the Los Angeles outpatient clinic in LA, I didn't have any issues. Everything was great. It was wonderful, so that is my experience. I know your experience may be different, but the point of this video is I want to shed light on a very special person who went way above and beyond. So let's get right into it and talk about it. There was a great PTSD counselor by the name of Robert, affectionately called Bob, at the outpatient clinic. And he was my PTSD counselor, my first one. And before I got connected, rewind, tell my story a little bit. I was homeless when I got out of the military. I think I lived in my place for like a year, and then I lost it because I just couldn't find a job that paid me the same amount of money as being active duty. So I lived out of my car. I also had my son that I had every other weekend. And on top of that, just struggled finding a job and then either keeping a job or quitting because I just couldn't do the job. I wasn't happy. It wasn't fulfilling. And it got me real depressed. During this time, my PTSD symptoms got worse. I was getting flashbacks. I was like having nightmares because I think while I was active and on active duty, I think a lot of that stuff kind of stayed down, close to the surface, but stayed down because I was always active and I was doing something that I loved. So I was dealing with a lot of these demons and PTSD. I was homeless. I was depressed. I struggled. I didn't want anybody to find out that I had PTSD because I was worried about losing my son. It was already bad enough that I was homeless. And even though I would spend a week starving, collecting money, collecting cans, collecting pallets, so that when I had my son, if I couldn't stay at a family member's house to do a sleepover, I could at least get a hotel for me and my son, and everything seemed okay. For who knows, probably my son probably thought we were rich, that we were always staying in hotels, but it would literally just be those 2 nights. And, that's the only time I really ate, I lost a lot of weight during that time. But it got to a point where I had to deal with these demons and I just couldn't do it. And it was eating me up alive. And I finally confided in my dad about what was going on because he was the first person I told. And even then, when I was telling him, I was rambling on and I started crying and all that. And then I remember looking at him, I just stopped. And I thought, oh my God, he probably thinks I'm crazy. And this is it. This is where I lose my son. This is where I lose everything, And he looked at me, 20-year veteran, Navy, Seavey, looked at me, gave me a hug, and said, "You're not crazy." Because that's one of the things I looked at him. I said, "Dad, I'm not crazy. I swear I'm not crazy." And that's what he did. He just grabbed me, hugged me, said, "Son, you're not crazy." And in fact, he pulled away and looked at me and said, "PTSD, or what you have, is a normal reaction to an abnormal situation that you went through." And even to this day, I say the same thing to veterans. PTSD, what we went through, is a normal reaction to an abnormal situation we went through. So fast forward, he ends up getting me connected to the VA and got me connected to mental health. So I go to mental health for my very first session, and they said, "Okay, you're going to be meeting with Robert." I'm like, "Okay, cool." I meet Robert. He comes out, calls my name, walks up. He's like, "Hey, Dominic, how you doing? My name's Robert. I'm a PTSD counselor here, and I'm going to be your PTSD counselor." I'm like, "Okay, cool. Let's do it. Let's go." Went to his room. He was a tall guy, about 6'1", maybe 6'2", but I think it was 6'1". Very gentle, soft, loving voice. This kid could probably read, Hansel and Gretel stories, to kids on audio tapes, And I sat down. He's like, "Hey, do you want water?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure. Give me water." So I got water because I was thirsty and nervous, So drank the water, sat there, and I'm just like, cool, I'm cool. I'm fine. I'm perfect, Putting on that front, putting the body armor on, putting on my helmet on, getting, I'm cool. I'm fine. I'm ready. I'm frosty. I'm in the go, I'm in the go, and, instantly he asked, so what brings you here? And that's when like the body armor, that being frosty, comes off, the helmet comes off, and I just let it go. I said everything, even stuff that I didn't tell my dad. And same thing, I was rambling, I was crying, I think I was going in circles, and I was just letting it all out. I'm depressed, I'm suicidal, I'm homeless, I'm starving, I'm thirsty, like I'm dealing with these demons, I'm having nightmares or flashbacks, and at the end of it, he looked at me and he smiled. He's like, you're okay. I go, we? And he went like this, we got this, we're gonna be okay. And I remember that, and that actually made me feel good. So our next session, he says, look, I want to touch on the PTSD stuff, we're going to get to that, but I want to make you whole, I want to make you stable and all that. So we worked on getting VASH so I can be housed. He connected me with people that furnish apartments for veterans and help veterans. He got me gift cards for grocery stores, people that donated stuff. And I was good for the first time. I was housed. I had food in the fridge. I had a washer and dryer. My son had his own bed. I had my own bed. Like, everything was good. Everything was good. And we went on to start dealing with the PTSD stuff, which he helped me fight those demons. We had many sessions, and he was always there. He always helped me through it. There was times where I struggled during our times where I couldn't pay a bill. He magically got me connected with people that could pay a bill. There was times where I need help, I need gas money, I need this, and he literally would pull out his wallet and here's $40. He, every now and then, I'll walk in, he'd have a $25 gift card to a grocery store. He always took care of me, always made sure I was good. And we went on to deal with the PTSD symptoms and all that other stuff, and coping mechanisms, all that, or not mechanisms, coping skills, and all that good stuff. And later on, I was dealing with custody issues with my son, with his mom and me. And he was studying to be a lawyer, or he was working on passing the bar to become a lawyer, because he wanted to be a lawyer for veterans to help them. So he got me connected with legal services, nonprofit organizations that deal with legal issues and stuff like that, and helped me fight the case. So he was there for me for that. After that, I joined his PTSD group that he had, that I found out about, and it was every Friday at 2:00. I would go. I would make sure I didn't have any work. If I had work, I'd tell him, look, I can't go. I can't work there. I have to go to this meeting. And I'll go, and I met other veterans that affectionately felt the same way towards Robert, that he helped them. He did things for them. He went way above and beyond. He would bring food. He would bring snacks, sodas. We would all sit there eating Oreos or whatever. And it was just wonderful. And we were just such a tight-knit group. And it was just amazing how this man did so much for all these veterans. This counselor, Robert, not only helped veterans from World War II all the way to present day warriors dealing with what they got to deal with. He would also be there for those that were passing, those that were on hospice, holding their hands and being there, to help them as they move on to their next duty station. And he was just one wonderful man. Like, I don't know what else to say. And I appreciate everything he did. And he did that from the bottom of his heart, So fast forward, 2018, I moved to Arizona. I lived out here. It was just a better way of living. Cost of living was cheaper. It was just better for me all around. I'm not going to get into that why and all that, but I moved to Arizona, for a better way of life, 2018. And I did not want to stop talking to Robert. I want him to stay my PTSD counselor. I don't want to talk to anybody else, and already I had issues with, like I said, with the Arizona VA. That was my first time ever dealing with any drama or BS, was here in Arizona. So I wanted to continue to talk to Robert. So he set it up. I don't know what he did, but he manipulated the system, went in there and made sure that I would continue to be his patient. So we talked, we do the video conference in times when I was in LA, because during this time I also started a nonprofit helping veterans, being a veteran resource and also advocating for veteran needs. I would even go to colleges and talk about how the combat veteran, student is different from your regular student, and here's why, and here's what you need to know and what you need to learn when dealing with veterans. So I did that. I was inspired because of him helping veterans. I wanted to help veterans. That's even part of the reason, roughly, why I started this channel back in 2018 when I left, because I wanted to help vets. So fast forward, we're talking, we're doing our thing. When I go to LA, I would go see him. And, COVID hit. It was a rough year for everybody, but we were still talking through the video. And on April 9th, 2020, we're doing a session. It was at noon. And I think roughly into it, like 20, 30 minutes into our session, I get a text. So I'm very fidgety when I'm in my sessions because I have to mess with my phone. I got to touch things, And we're talking. He's saying something. And I look at my phone and I look and I just read the preview. And it says, Danny passed away this morning. Danny being my cousin. It was a text from my mom. And I remember being in the session with them, and I looked at the camera, and I just started crying. I'm going like this. I didn't know what to do, so I'm like, give it the timeout symbol, training timeout. And I just started crying, and I just couldn't get the words out. He's like, "What's going on? Is everything okay? What's wrong?" And I told him what happened, that my cousin passed away. Now, my cousin Danny was someone I looked up to. I'm the oldest of 5. Well, my cousin Danny was like my older brother because I wanted to be like him. All the girls loved him. He was very athletic. He was just so funny, and I wanted to be him. And he took care of me. He would buy me things. When we were stationed in other states, my cousin Danny would send me letters, send me stuff, send me mixtapes of what was playing in LA, because he would say, "No, I don't want you to be listening to that old stuff while you're in another state. They may not have the good stuff like we do in LA." So he was just like my older brother, So when that hit me, I was instantly heartbroken and shattered. And Robert ended up staying with me almost 4 hours on the video chat. He canceled all of his appointments. He didn't go to lunch, and he was just there. He was there for me, and I'm very grateful. And I'm saddened that it happened, but I'm very appreciative that he was there when it happens, because I don't know what I would have done if I was by myself and had to deal with that by myself, because my family wasn't around. I'm in Arizona. Everybody else is in California. So I don't know what would happen, but so I'm very thankful that he was there. And, moving forward, he helped me through it, dealing with all that heartache and heartbreak and all that stuff. And he was just there for me. So fast forward to December 2020. It was the 16th. I believe it was a Wednesday. We had a session right before Christmas. He told me that, "Hey, I'm going to be doing a little bit of minor surgery on the 29th. So let's get that, which is a Tuesday. So let's schedule you for Monday. And, so I can see you just in case if I'm down for a week or 10 days. I'm like, cool. Yeah. And do what you got to do. Yeah, let's do it. Like if you want to take the day off, you don't have to. He's like, no, let's meet Monday. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm down. So we choose to set that up. So fast forward, I know I keep saying fast forward. I'm just having a timeline in my head. So fast forward, Monday the 26th comes around. I get a call first thing in the morning that my appointment's canceled. So I'm like, that's odd. Usually it hits me up through email or messages me, "Hey, I can't do it today because of whatever reason." So I'm like, okay, cool. So going about my business, daily life stuff. And then I get a text from a veteran from the PTSD group, and he's like, "Hey, Robert passed away." So I didn't believe it. So I called a friend who works at the VA that actually works there at the clinic and said, "Hey, is it true?" And she said, "You didn't hear this from me, but yeah, he passed away Saturday of a heart attack in his house." So Robert passed away from a heart attack in the late afternoon at his house. And the minor surgery he was going to have was going to fix something with his heart on that Tuesday, the 29th. Had Robert got that surgery prior to the 26th of his passing, he would still be here today helping veterans. And unfortunately, that didn't happen. And it took a toll on all of us. Many veterans came, left flowers all across the outpatient clinic entrance, balloons, and so many letters of just people thanking him for what he did. Towards the beginning of February 2021, there was a memorial service for Robert, being that because of COVID, we couldn't all get together and we all wanted to pay respect. So Robert's rabbi, because he was Jewish, Robert's rabbi put on this memorial service for us and his sister also, for us to go and express and say what we got to say. So when I logged into this online thing, video chat conference, there was over 60 veterans there, and all of them crying, all of them spilling their hearts out about how much this man did for them. Thank you for helping my family. Thank you for helping my kid, my daughter, my grandma. Thank you for getting me out of that speeding ticket. Thank you for helping me win that custody battle. Thank you for giving me food. Thank you for that one time I was starving and you just so happened to have In-N-Out burgers for me at our session. And I didn't express anything because I think all the veterans said it for me. And I think personally, I just didn't want to repeat myself because everybody said it. And this man helped World War II veterans all the way up to modern day warriors, modern day veterans. And he was there for them all. And even, like I said, all the way up to the end, holding hands for veterans that passed on to the next duty station. At the end of it, his sister said, "Thank you for all your kind words. I appreciate it. I know my family does too." One thing you should know is that Robert loved veterans. Robert loved helping veterans. Robert looked forward to going to work every day to help veterans. Robert would go early just in case if there was a veteran that came in that wasn't on the schedule but needed help, needed someone to talk to. He wanted to be there. He wanted to be there to help veterans. And she said he truly loved you guys, meaning veterans and girls. And she did say that. She did truly love you guys and girls. And he did. He truly loved veterans. He truly loved helping and serving them. So now that he's gone, it does leave a big hole. I do have a PTSD counselor. She's really good, but it just ain't the same, And I do miss talking to Robert. I do miss our conversations. And one of our conversations we had was the first week of December, before our last session together, which was on the 16th. So I think it was a Wednesday before. And we talked about life and death and what happens after we pass. And I remember what he said. He said, "I'm Jewish. I believe in that. And I believe in the religion. But I also feel that when we pass, we become energy for our loved ones and family." And I said, "Well, what do you mean by energy?" He says, "Well, I feel that we become energy in the atmospheres around our loved ones. So if your mother had a beautiful voice and she passes and you're sitting there just sad and down and missing your mom, our energy would enter a bird and that bird would come close to you and just chirp and sing to you. If you're having a bad day, our energy would create a beautiful skyline for us to look at and know that everything's going to be okay. Or if you're working hard and it's hot, our energy would power the wind to be that cooling breeze on a hot day." And I would like to think that at times when stuff is bad or, I'm down or something and then something good happens, that cool breeze has hit me, I do like to think that that's Robert, coming through and just saying hi and, "Hey, you look like you could cool off a little bit." But yeah, I just wanted to do a video because this past Tuesday, the 26th, or yesterday, was 3 years since he passed. And he's just a great man. And I wish there was a whole lot more Roberts out there. And I guarantee he would help so many veterans, and so many veterans would appreciate that, In closing, Robert never served, but he served veterans. Robert was never on any missions, but it was his mission to help and save every veteran. Robert was just a truly giving person who loved working for the VA because he gets to help veterans, and that's all he ever wanted to do, was to help veterans because he truly loved us. So if you have any good experiences about a PTSD counselor, someone that helped, or doesn't even have to be from the VA, but someone that helped you and connected you with services, or was that ear to talk to, in the comments below, give them a shout out. Let everybody know about them, because these are the people that need to be recognized, who have helped veterans and connected veterans with services and was just there to listen. These people need to be heard or need to be talked about. So if you can, put that in the comments below. Thank you for supporting the channel. I hope you guys had a wonderful Christmas. I hope you have a wonderful New Year's as we enter 2024. And thank you for watching the video. If you can, subscribe. It helps me out a lot. Share with those veterans that need it or family members that may want to see this video, and connect them with this channel. And I appreciate all you guys' support and continued support. And thank you very much. I hope you have a blessed week. Carry on.